Hello and welcome back to Seminar Sessions, the series where we make car care easy. Today we're going to talk about preparing the paintwork. So previous steps, we've chosen the right accessories. For washing, we've done the actual contact wash and we've looked at wheels and tyres. Now we're going to do the main focus, and that's how to get the best out of your paintwork. So once the car's cleaned and dried, you then move on to preparing the surface. First and foremost, we need to remove the above surface contaminants, and by doing that we use clay. Now we've got a number of clay kits which we'll come into in a moment, but once we've cleared that upper surface, we then move on to ultimate compound, which is going to be removing any swirl marks or imperfections that are within the upper surface of the lacquer. So the main difference between all of our clay kits is the size of the kit itself. The clay is exactly the same. So the starter kit is the quick clay kit, which contains 80 grams of clay, and the quick detailer, which is basically the essentials you need to clay. Then our smooth surface kit contains 160 grams of clay. This is contained in a soap dish. It also comes with a microfiber towel and of course the detailer to lubricate it. Then, just in case you run out, we've got the smooth surface replacement clay bar, which is just a bar on its own. So this is how the clay comes in a nice package, typically 80 grams worth of clay. Obviously open it up if you can. Our advice is to keep it in there, half of it in the wrapping, just to keep it nice and safe. If you take it totally out, some cling film or obviously the soap box. This is how we keep ours. Once we've used it, they just go inside, they're nice and safe, not picking any contaminants up. So I've took some of that clay out of our box, and to move it and get it ready, get some heat into it, get it malleable and knead it into typically a 5 centimetre-ish disc, and this is how it should look. So whilst we've kneaded our clay, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the properties of it. Obviously it's like blue tack in consistency, it's quite malleable, but the main ingredients in it are china clay, so it's blended with some synthetics. What's important to remember is that this isn't going to remove any swirl marks. This is removing anything from above the surface that you'll probably be able to feel, you might not necessarily be able to see. It's not abrasive, but it erodes the particles and contaminants into the clay itself. The other main part of the kit is the quick detailer. Now, a lot of people have asked and continue to ask whether they can just use water to lubricate the clay. The reality is no, water's very harsh. It can cause marring, and this is where some of the questions surround clay that mars paintwork. A good quality clay and a good quality detailer, the clay won't mar the surface. So it's really important that you use something that's got the lubricity to allow the clay to glide over the surface and do its job safely. So with clay, you need to pick out the area that you're going to work on. Let's just work on this area here. So lots of detailer, and it's just fingertip pressure only. You don't need to be doing a lot of work, the clay's doing it. So I always go to left, right and up and down. Now this is also one of the things that we say, because you're not actually applying, you're passing over the surface. The only time we suggest to go in a uniform motion, if you go in circles, you miss bits. With this, you're definitely covering all of the panel. So now we've clayed that section, we've kneaded our new piece, all we've got to do is just get rid of the excess detailer and you're good to go. It's important to note that visually you'll probably not notice much difference in the appearance, because what it's doing is removing everything from the upper surface. If the car's never been clayed and never been compounded, you may see some visual difference, but we wouldn't expect it. Also, another point, we spoke about it earlier on in the video, there's no marring. So a good quality clay with the right detailer or lubrication, you won't get marring. So a nice top tip for clay as well, because it's not abrasive, you can use it on a lot of other surfaces across the vehicle. You can use it on your windscreen, you can use it on your headlights, you can even use it on your alloy wheels. What we'd suggest to avoid is the plastic textured areas, because that's just going to grab the clay and make a bit of a mess. But you can safely use it on all the other surfaces as well. So we've now removed all of those above surface contaminants safely. What we're going to do is look at anything that's below that upper surface. So typically in the clear coat, a lot of people talk about metallic paints and coloured processes. All modern paint surfaces have a colour with a clear coat lacquer on the top, and those imperfections are just superficial imperfections in that upper surface of the clear coat. We've got Ultimate Compound that's clear coat safe. You can either hand apply this or apply it by machine. Today we're going to hand apply it to show you how easy it is to get really good results at home. Obviously a machine polisher gives you something extra than that we can create by hand. There's a bit more heat, a bit more consistency, but it's an absolutely fantastic product to use via hand as well, and that's how we're going to use it today. Okay, so as we spoke about, there's a couple of application methods that you can use for Ultimate Compound, but today we're going to hand apply it. So, giving it a good shake. We're going to use an even coat applicator pad, and the reason why we're going to use this, the microfiber will aid with the cutting process, and plus you're going to start working this, so it's nice and easy to get hold of. It's a good sized pad. You don't need to use any lubrication, that's probably enough. I'm going to work on this area here. Now we've pre-taped this off just to give you some before and afters. As you can see, there's some swirl marks and some slight imperfections in there. The way this abrasive works is a high concentration of small abrasives. So when you rub it between your fingers, it feels like a very mild cream rather than very dense rocks that are going to be aggressive against the paintwork. Now we'd expect, we're not a one-hit wonder. We don't expect everything to be removed with one application. They're designed for 2 or 3 applications. So as you can see, the product's well lubricated, so you don't need to have any water. So once you've got it on the panel, all you need to do is work it a few passes. You can just see the panel flexing. If I push really hard, you'll see how hard I'm going. You just need enough to make sure that you're getting behind the pad and working the product to its best ability. Don't be afraid of it. You should see there's no dusty residues. You can start to see the product drying a little bit. That's a good indication that it's ready to take off. Simply use a microfiber towel. That's pretty good going for first time round. Now there are a few imperfections still there. There's just one application, as we mentioned, that their products aren't designed to be a one-hit wonder. First application that's going to be majorly aggressive and potentially cause more damage. So now you've seen the results that one application can do with Ultimate Compound. That's pretty good. There were still imperfections in there, and again I'm going to go again with Ultimate Compound. Smaller amount of product now because the pad's primed. Now there's a common misconception about swirl marks and which way you should go. But at this point that you've removed all the contaminants from above the surface of the lacquer, we look at swirl marks as if they're round. So people avoid going in a circular motion. The reality is that our brain picks up a beam of light and brings it back to us. If you're going to mark the paintwork, it doesn't matter which way you're going in. So you can go whatever way feels comfortable. I like to do a mixture of both because then I'm working the product as best as I can. So I go from left to right, up and down, and I feel like I'm giving the best opportunity for the product to do its job. Now, as you can see, it's starting to break down again now, so I'm going to buff it off and see what a second application looks like. Now that that process has had a second application, we're going to go ahead and take off the tape. We often get asked whether or not we fill them or mask swirls or what the Ultimate Compound is actually doing. So as we take off the tape, I'm going to use our glass cleaner, which is an alcohol-based cleaner, just to spritz over the surface. That will give us a true finish of exactly what 2 coats hand-applied Ultimate Compound can do. So, we've now prepared the paint to our best possible ability, and it's all about getting that depth of gloss. So in our next video we're going to talk about the difference between polish and wax and how you feed the paintwork to give you the best depth of gloss and then seal it in to protect. But this week, just as a roundup, we've spoken about preparing the surface. So we've used our clay system along with Ultimate Compound and an even coat applicator pad just to get that surface looking the best it possibly can, so we can stick the cherry on top next time round. So thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the content, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, like, share and subscribe. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments box and we'll do our best to get back to you.